all this. I mean,
do you have any identification whatsoever?
I do, yeah. Yes,
Can
sir.
I get that from you, please?
I'd rather not. I'd rather not.
I understand that you'd rather not, but I'm asking you to please provide me with that.
But I'd rather not, though. I'm not being charged with a crime. I didn't commit a crime anywhere.
Not yet. You're not being charged with a crime,
Yeah.
but you very well may be by the end of this day.
Pull over to the side right there.
You don't know your authority. I don't know the law. No, you don't.
Welcome to the first episode of Know Your Rights. I'm your host, Britt Hysen, and today we are talking about police checkpoints. With me is Nina Hodjat, who is an attorney for DUI Partners. Nina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What should people do when they're stopped by the police?
So basically, the Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. And what that means is that without a warrant, the police can't just come up to you and search a person, search a car, or search your home. Especially. The California Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court has carved out exceptions for DUI checkpoints.
Have you had any alcohol to drink tonight?
I'm sorry, I'm being arrested or not?
Sir, the Supreme Court allows me to ask that question.
And immigration checkpoints within the border.
This is a U.S. Border Patrol checkpoint. The law allows interior checkpoints within 100 miles of the border.
I agree. I understand that. Sure.
Within 100 miles of the border, this is what...
That's why I stopped.
The purpose behind the two checkpoints is completely different. It's just your duty, really, to protect yourself by invoking your rights.
So there's a card that is available for everyone to download, and it basically states your rights for you so that you don't actually have to say them. And when you hand over your ID to the police officer, they can read that and understand where you're coming from, because most people probably won't have that on them.
Hello?
I need to see driver's license.
Along with my ID, I handed him this card on top of it. This is what it says. I hereby invoke and refuse to waive all the following rights and privileges afforded to me by the U.S. Constitution. I invoke and refuse to waive my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I invoke and refuse to waive my Sixth Amendment right to an attorney of my choice. I invoke and refuse to waive my Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. If I am not presently under arrest or under an investigatory detention, please allow me to leave.
All right, you have a good night.
Thank you.
Do you advise everyone to have that card with them?
You can definitely do that. Knowing your rights is the most important thing, because you can give them that card. They don't have to stop questioning you.
You a citizen, sir? Respectfully, sir, I do not have to answer that question. Sir, are you a citizen?
I don't have to answer that question, I'm sorry.
Now, what is your reasonable suspicion?
Supervisor in car one.
Like I've explained, I'm a private citizen. I'd like to freely travel down this road without having to answer questions from federal agents.
And all you have to do is say I'm a U.S. citizen and
right.
you'll be on your way.
But this is a matter.
You're making a big deal about it.
This is a matter of principle to me, sir.
Are you a U.S. citizen or not? Do you have a suspicion I'm not?
I don't want to hold up traffic. I want to freely travel down the road. May I do that?
You may.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So now let's say that you're stuck in the checkpoint line.
Yes.
And then the officer comes up to your window. What are some mistakes that most people make?
The biggest mistake is, in any situation involving law enforcement, is to provide too much information. The nicest people will say, well, I just want to cooperate, and I was thinking maybe he'll let me go.
Not the case?
Meanwhile, while you're cooperating, you're providing evidence, because everything you say or do can
and will
absolutely be used against you.
We watched a lot of videos about how people coming through checkpoints, that when they're stopped and the police ask them, let's say it's an immigration checkpoint,
right,
if they're a citizen of the United States and they refuse to answer.
I'm asking you to state your citizenship, please.
Yeah, and that's my business. I just want to go on my way.
You're a U.S. citizen?
That's my business.
Why are they refusing to answer?
Because they're essentially protecting their rights. You don't have to answer the questions that you're being presented, because they're stopping you for no reason. If we lived in a country where we didn't have a Fourth Amendment, essentially officers can just stop you for any reason, question you for any reason.
Why are you stopping me?
I'll pull you over to check you have your documents.
We do not allow that here. And so they're overstepping the boundaries of the law by asking you questions without having a proper reason to do so.
A lot of people in the videos have mentioned that they're asking, have I been detained?
Am I free to go, or am I being detained?
Sir, am I being detained?
Sir, am I being detained? Yes.
A lot of people don't even really know what being detained entails.
They're trying to distinguish whether or not the officers are actually detaining them, meaning that they're not free to leave, or if they're just investigating and they're free to leave.
Who are you, sir? Can I use your name, please?
No.
I'm going to tell you for the last time.
Okay, am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained.
Okay, thank you.
Well, what are the police trying to do that may be overstepping their bounds that you're not aware of?
Okay, they can ask you whatever they want. They can really ask you whatever they want.
Where do you work?
You have a problem with law enforcement?
Would you agree with me that anything outside the norm is suspicious?
Are these your children?
Now, if you're going through a field sobriety or a DUI checkpoint, they're going to try to ask you where you're coming from.
Where you come from tonight?
If you've been drinking.
Have you had anything to drink tonight, sir?
It's up to you to invoke your rights by respectfully declining, as I like to put it. They'll say, I'm going to need you to do this for me right now. I just want to make sure that, you know, you're a citizen.
I need to make sure that you're not carrying fruit across the state line.
Do you have any plants?
Am I being detained?
No, I'm
okay,
not.
goodbye.
I'm asking you if you
We'll
have
see
any
you later.
fresh fruit.
Can I just check your car really quick to make sure that there's no fruit in here so you can go?
You mind if I take a look at your trunk? I do mind. You do mind? Yes, sir.
If you say yes, you're giving them consent
Right.
to check your car. And what if somebody borrowed your car and there's something in there that shouldn't be in there?
Or you have an open container of alcohol that your friend might have left back there that you really didn't know.
Right.
Is there any reason to believe that I've broken immigration law, or what's the reason to want to check my trunk?
Just your car is dirty?
Do you have to roll your window down? So explain like whether or not you can leave your window up or if you have to roll it down.
How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Go ahead and roll your window down for me.
This is fine, sir.
How you doing?
Can you roll the window down?
I can hear you just fine.
No, I want you to roll the window down.
Why is that, sir?
Because I'm going to break it if you don't open it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
You don't absolutely have to roll your window down all the way. You just have to roll your window down enough so that you can hear their questions and they can hear you respectfully declining to answer their questions. If somebody goes through a checkpoint and doesn't roll their window down, what are they supposed to think? Maybe you're deaf, maybe you're really drunk and you can't hear them. What they will do sometimes, if they get really mad, they'll break it. And you'll get charged with obstruction of justice.
So just comply so you can speak with the person. Because if you don't, if you leave the window up, it's going to possibly give them that reasonable doubt that something's wrong with you. Let's say you are drunk. How do you protect yourself in the most constitutional way, even though you're guilty?
Right. Here's an important thing to know, especially with respect to DUIs. If your alcohol consumption has impaired your driving, you don't have to be drunk to be charged with a DUI.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You don't even have to blow the limit?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear that?
I've seen it happen a lot where people are, for example, blowing a .07 and are charged with a DUI.
Quick tip list.
Quick tip list. Number one, don't answer any questions. Say that you respectfully decline to answer any questions. Number two, respectfully decline to do any field sobriety tests. Mm-hmm. If they ask you, in California what we have is a preliminary alcohol screening test. To me, it's the preliminary, let me take you to jail easier test, where they ask you to blow in a device. Funny enough, that device cannot be used in court against you because those devices have been shown to be inaccurate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is aggressively defending your rights giving them enough cause to actually do something to you?
In other words, if you're a jerk, does that give them reasonable suspicion that you're committing a crime? And the answer to that is no, it doesn't.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the Fourth Amendment?
Have you?
Can you recite that to me?
Hi, how you doing?
There's no reason for you to pull me over. I have not committed a crime. You're a bully. You're all a bunch of fucking bullies. Leave me alone.
You have to understand that human element factors come in. And if you're being aggressive with someone, generally they're going to respond in kind. Mm-hmm. And after the fact, whatever it escalates to, they can point out several reasons why they thought you were drunk or why they thought you refused to answer any questions.
Where you coming from?
Does it matter?
You got an attitude too, okay. So I'm free to go, right?
Yeah, you're free to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, where
Appreciate
you guys heading?
I'm being detained or I'm free to go?
No, I'm asking you a question, but you can be pulled out of the car and I can search it if you really want.
How is that?
Any way I want. Doesn't mean I can use what I find, but I can do it. So you want to do that? You want to play that game, a little hard ass, or you want to go back to Rick?
All I'm saying is...
Don't talk shit.
How am I talking shit to you, officer?
You're talking shit. Am I being detained or what? I told you could go, right? So go.
All right.
Get the fuck out of here.
So always stay calm, respectful, as you say, and be smart.
Yeah.
Know your rights.
We're free to go?
Am I free to go?
Yes, you know what? You guys are awesome for exercising your constitutional rights. I totally respect that.
Cool.
There's a lot of guys that come through here and they're jerks to us, and we don't appreciate that, but I totally appreciate you guys who are respectful, who you don't want to talk because we can't force you to do it. You guys have a good day.
Thanks,
you too, sir.
You too.
Nina, thank you so much for joining us. For Voices of Liberty, I'm Britt Hysen. Thank you for watching Know Your Rights.